Hello guys, it's Oliver Ochi here once again from Ochi Dev channel. So in this video we are going to build a movie seat booking website. So let's take a look at how it's going to be like when we are done. So this is how it looks like. So you can see there's a legend here which says occupied is going to show us white and selected is going to show us purple, light green. So let's select a seat. Let's say we want to book here. Okay, you can see the price is calculating as we choose the seat. All right. Okay, so we have booked for 3 seats. So now let's go ahead and purchase the seat. Alright, so now we fill in with our details and we provide our number, then we go ahead with the payment. Okay, so let's say we provide it with our card details, then we go ahead and pay. Okay, the payment is accepted. Then we are redirected to, it says thank you for purchasing us. An email has been sent to your email address with your seat number. Thank you once again. Click here to go to the home page. Okay, so let's check our email to see whether the email has been sent. Okay, so you can see just now 8:37 made purchases and you have received 3 emails. Let's open it and see what are inside the email. Okay, so you can see we purchased a movie ticket for the Avengers End of Game movie. Then the seat number is 22. So we purchased 3 tickets, so we will have 3 emails. Okay, so this is what we are going to build. Okay, so before we go ahead, I want to acknowledge that this template or this design is not from me. It was built in a project or in a course by Travesty. So let me show you the course. So it's in this course which he built the movie booking website. So I just added the back end with Django and the payment integration. So in the second project he built was the movie seat booking website. So that's what we took and we built upon it with Django as the back end. It's really a good course, and if you are starting out with JavaScript or you are not that strong in JavaScript, you should consider purchasing it. It's a really good course. Alright, so let's get into it and see how we are going to go ahead. Alright, okay guys, so before we go ahead, I want you to know that I have gone ahead and created the starter files for this project as usual. So when you come to the GitHub repo here, I'm going to leave the URL inside the description below. So when you just come here and you clone the repository with this URL here, then you click on this button here, this one commit, and you copy this hash. You copy it, then you go inside your command prompt or your bash, then you type git reset --hard. Then you paste this the hash you are going to copy from here. This hash you are going to copy here. It's going to bring you to the beginning of the project, which has all the starter files for you to be able to follow along. By the time I'm done with this video, I'm going to push the final work here to GitHub so that you also have access to it, so I can compare your code to it also. Alright, so let's jump into our text editor so that we'll be able to code this thing up. Alright, So before we start building, I want to show you what are inside the starter files that I provided for the project. So as usual, I built a Django project with Django-admin start project, then the movie website, and I've done the initial configuration with the static files, static URLs and everything. I've done all the configuration, also done the configuration for the templates too as well, and also I've created a file here. As you can see, I created a .env file, but it has a .template on it. So you just come, you rename it, just rename it, just take off the .template from it. Alright, so just take off the .template from it. That's all, and you are done. Alright, so from that we can go along and continue with our project. So the first thing we are going to do is I want to show you the template, how it looks like also. So we are going to create a view that is going to show us the home page. That is where you are going to choose the particular movie that you want to book and the other stuff, and go ahead with the payment too as well. Okay, so let's jump into the movie app. You can see I've also created an app called movies app. So let's jump into the views there. All right, let's get this out. Okay, so let's create an index view that takes the request. It's going to render, it's going to return the render of the request, and it's going to be the index.html file. Okay, so that one, the index.html file, has also been provided for you. It's also inside the starter files. It's from the Brad Travis's course directly. I didn't make any changes to it. The only changes I made was referencing the static. Let me open it and show it to you all, so that you'll be able to understand. Okay, the only changes I made was this part, this one, where the script, so I to be able to locate the scripts that will be used for the website, and also the style.css. Yes, this one too. Yes, I just changed the referencing to be a static URL. All right, so we want to render that one, so we are going to render it. Let's save it. Then let's go into our urls.py. Oh no, urls.py inside the movie app. All right, okay, then we add it. So path, first let's import our view. So from .views, import index. Okay, so we are going to give it the root URL and pass in the index and give it a name of home. All right, so guys, let's start our server and see how it's going to look like. Okay, so Python manage.py. Okay, first one thing I have to do is source in the .env file. My laptop has issues reading environment variables, so I have to source in my .env files first. Then Python manage.py run server. All right. Okay, So it says we are supposed to have an app name inside the urls.py here. So let's add the app name, movies. Let's save it. All right, so now our server is running. Let's open it up. So local host got 8,000. All right, so you can see we have our normal website. So now the next thing we want to do is, now let's work on the functionality. So all this is from Brad Travis's course. All the functionalities, selecting it and the recalculation happening, is all from Brad Travis's course. Okay, so you should really check it out. 20 web project with vanilla JavaScript. All right. Okay, so now what we want to do is we don't want the movies. Let me open up the template so that we are able to visualize it well. So as you can see here, so you can see that the movies has been hard coded inside the select tag. So we want to dynamically put in these movies, or dynamically insert the movies. So we are going to store the movies inside our database, then we call them here. All right, so first we have to create a database for our movies. All right, so let's go to our models.py file. Okay, let's take this one off. All right, okay, so class movie. We are going to inherit from the models.model. All right, so first we are going to have a title for our movie. So it's going to be from models.charfield. No, models.charfield. We're going to have a max length. Max length of 255. All right, and it's going to have a price that will be for a ticket. So models dot, it's going to be an integer field. All right, then the next thing we want is the book seat for this particular movie. This one is going to be a many-to-many field to a table called seat. All right, okay, so let's put here null equals true, so that we'll be able to create movies from our database without having booked seat yet. So, and blank, sorry guys, blank equals true. Okay, so we want to add the day that it was created. So models dot datetime field. Okay, so we want to add an auto now add true. All right, okay, so let's give it a string representation. So str. Okay, so it's going to return an f string instead, f string of self dot title with a space, and this one also in brackets, the price, self dot price. Okay, so we are now done. We are done with our movie database. Okay, or our movie table instead, sorry. All right, so now we have to find a way of rendering all the movies inside the database in the index.html. So first you are going to import from models instead, from .models, import movie. All right, okay, so here you are going to send a context to the front end or to the index.html template. So going to be movie, or movies equal to, because they are going to be plural, models movie dot objects dot all. Okay, they are going to create a context dictionary over here. They are going to pass it the key of movies, and it's going to be the movies here, the movies we have created. All right, or the movies from the database. Okay, so when you run this, you are going to get an error because you have not migrated our database yet. So let's do that as soon as possible before we start getting errors. Okay, so Python manage.py, make migration. Okay, so we are getting an error that it can't locate the seat model. Okay, so let's create that seat model as soon as possible. Then let's continue. So class, inside the models.py file, we are creating the seat model so that our migrations will be able to work. So we're going to inherit from models.model. Okay, so a seat is going to have a seat number, which is going to be a models.integer field. Models.integer field. Then it's going to have an occupant. So the occupant's first name, going to be models.char field. The max length of 255. Let's copy this one down. Let's copy it 3 times. It's okay. So here is going to be the last name. Let's change this one to the last name, and this one is going to be email, the occupant email. Let's change this one to an email field. Alright, and let's change this one to 555. Alright, and let's give it a time of purchase time. It's also going to be a models dot date time field, where it's going to be an auto now add true. An auto now add field is going to add a time to, or the current time to, the model or to the table or the entry when a save is called once, but an auto now is going to add it whenever a save is called on it, but auto now add will save it once when the first save was called. Yes. Oh, sorry. Okay, so you are going to return an f string also. Of self dot first name dash self dot last name sorry guys, and the seat number, the seat number. All right, self dot seat now. All right, okay, so we are done with our seat table now. So now let's go ahead and go and make the migration. Okay, it said now has no effect, so let's take the null off. So it's supposed to be just blank true. Okay, so now let's make the migration once again. Okay, so let's migrate now. PY migrate. Okay, now we have made our migration, so let's run our server. Okay, let me close the terminal down. All right, so let's move back into our view. So inside our view, we are sending the movies or the movies from our database as a context variable through the context dictionary to the index.html template. So we have to find a way to render it on the template. So let's open our template app. Okay, so we want to render our movies here in this place and take out these guys from there. All right, so the first thing you are going to do is you are going to delete this 3, just leave 1 here. All right, so if you are going to run a for loop, because it's going to be more than one object that will be returned from the movie table. So movies, so movie in movies. What do you want to do? You want to create for every movie, you want to create this option tag. All right, instead of this thing being here, we want to render the movie's title movie.title, and instead of this thing being here or this static thing being here, we want to render the movie.price. Okay, and in this value too, we don't want it to be a static number, we want to be the price also. So movie.price, and we are going to give a special ID to the option for us to be able to locate it. So the ID is going to be its title, the movie's title. So movie.title. All right, so now we are rendering our movies from the database inside our template now. So now let's go out and refresh and see how it's going to look like. Oh, and we have no movies inside our database. So there are no movies inside our database. So let's go into our database. Let's first create a super user, then go into our database and add 1 or 2 movies for it to be rendered here. Oliver and admin. Alright, so we are logged into the Django administration now, but we are not seeing our table, our seats table and the movie table here. We forgot to add it to the admin file here. So let's go into it and add it. Let's register it over there. From .models import movies or movie and seat. Sorry. Then we register its site. Sorry, admin.site.register. Register model, movie, the movie model, and let's copy it down. Change this one to seat. Okay. Now let's come and refresh here. Okay, you can see we have it here. So let's go into the movies, add 1 or 2 movies as quick as possible. Then let me add this. Okay guys, so I've added 2 movies to our movies table. Okay, so you can see we have 2 movies here, but you see by default no movie is selected, and we don't want that. Someone may a customer might think that there is no movie inside the database, but there are 2 movies inside. So let's combat that one as soon as possible inside our model. What you are going to do is that you are going to add the selected or the option selected to the first option that is created. So you are going to do it with an if tag, which you are going to check on the for loop, dot counter, and check whether it is equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, which means it is the first for loop that is being run, we are adding the selected to it. All right, now let's go back and refresh and run it, so you can see that it's been selected. It's the first here. All right, so now we are able to bring in the movie from the movie database or from the movie table into the app. Okay, instead of it being statically rendered here. So let's see whether the functionalities are all working. It's $10. So let's see, we choose a movie, $10. Okay, we choose 2, you can see it's $20. Let's change it to Avengers, 5, and we choose 2 and still 10. So you can see the functionalities are also working perfectly. Alright, so now let's get into the weightier matters. Now first we have to make some slight moderation to this template. We just need a button to tell the user where to click to go ahead with the purchase or the purchasing of the ticket. So I am going to paste in a code here that is going to give us the button for that. So okay, so you can pause it and enter this 2 or 3 lines of code into the template. This is the only change that we are going to do to the Bravisys template. Alright, so now let's check, see how it looks like. Alright, so you can see we have some button over here. Okay, let's style it up slightly. Where is the static? So inside the static file we have a style.css file. Let's go to the bottom of it and go to, first it has a class of purchase btn. Okay guys, so the only CSS you are going to add is this one. So add these 3 lines of code to the CSS file inside the static folder, and this is how it's going to look like. This is just a simple button, no much styling. Okay, so now